welcome all of you to the regularly scheduled committee meetings for the Edenton Town Council. Tonight we're also going to have a special meeting to start our agenda, and then when we're done with the committee meetings we will adjourn our redevelopment commission to talk about acquisition of properties. So that'll be the order of the evening. So we'll begin now with our special meeting. But before we get into that, on behalf of the town council members here tonight, those absent as well, and from our administrative staff, I just want to offer out a shout of praise and thanksgiving to everyone who participated in the many events that took place in Edenton this past weekend. We had our biennial pilgrimage, which was a very successful event. We had Boogie on Broad with one of the largest crowds assembled on Broad Street for that event that I can recall. And there were a lot of positive things being said, and that doesn't happen without a lot of work, cooperation, collaboration, and everything else among our employees, among our organizations that put on these events, and the many volunteers who live in and around this town who participate to make it all come off in an orderly and fun fashion, which it clearly was this past weekend. So thanks to all of you who participated. All right, the special meeting tonight is we are asked to sign a proclamation celebrating the launch of History Worth Repeating, which is an initiative that was born over in Warrenton, North Carolina, and we passed earlier in the year among ourselves here, we resolved to participate in this effort designed to promote travel and tourism. And Nancy Nichols is with us here tonight, and she's going to give us a brief overview, please, ma'am, and then we'll see if we can get this resolution passed and moving along.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for embarking on this initiative. I think you're going to love what's going to happen. It's a little passport program with the 3 towns, and something that people can put in their pocket and take with them. So it's an educational piece as well as serving as a history. As you do this with our neighbors in Warrenton and Halifax, we all tell a different story, but it's something that everybody can experience together, and it's kind of an umbrella branding. So as we move forward with this, we just want to say thank you very much for doing this. And here in Edenton, on April 4th, we did have a meeting where we got together with everybody in our town that'll be part of it, and each of them will have their own stamp, and it could say something like repeating history since 2004, or it could say repeating history since 8 a.m. They make a choice per business. And this is a pilot program, so as it moves forward, there may be other sites that can join in as well. But Robert, who is in Warrenton, Robert Davey, who's their town administrator, was the creator of this, and he felt like we have 10 sites here in Edenton. Halifax has less and Warrenton has less, and they felt like doing it this way and then having people hop on board as we see how it works. The launch of the website will be on May 10th, and that will be when our local places here have their own passports and their own stamps, and these can also be downloaded off the website. So you don't have to have a passport with you. You know, you can download it at home, bring it with you, or pick one up at one of the sites. And stamps as well. Each of our places will have their own, and just stamp those. We're also going to be doing some gift giveaways for people who do 5 of the spots. And we'll, have something that we'll do a drawing, and they'll be put their names in the drawing and then give away presents to them. So as you can see, it'll go on forever. It's an umbrella branding initiative, and it'll take place for a long, long time. So we think it'll be wonderful, and we're happy to do this with the other towns, and we're happy that you have accepted to do it. think it'll be a wonderful initiative for all three towns.
Okay, thank you for those remarks. Council members, anybody have any questions they would like to ask Nancy about the program she just described?
I just think it's a great idea. I mean,
really
you're talking about getting people to a way to track from wherever they're coming from and keeping up. I just think y'all doing a great job here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think you're going to really like the website too when you see it. They've done a really nice job with that. Robert has done really well. So I think you're going to like that too.
What's the tagline for the web? I mean, whatever you call those things.
It'll be history worth repeating.
Historyworthrepeating.com. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, hearing no further questions or comments, the chair would entertain a motion that we execute and send forward the proclamation to get this started.
Salute.
A second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, the motion passes. We'll sign the proclamation and send it to the proper places. And thanks again for your enlightenment on history worth repeating. Okay, that's the one agenda item we had for our special meeting. Now we'll roll into our committee meetings. Tonight we're going to hear from three of our committees, the Utilities Committee, the Administrative Committee, and the Finance Committee. Beginning with Utilities, chaired by Councilman Quinn, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Utilities Committee, we have three items tonight. Excuse me, my council member is absent this evening. But I don't think there's a problem with any of the three. The first comes about from our recent vision statement meeting when we recognized and encouraged expanding gas service to areas where it's not available. And so we welcome Brady Cartwright here with Piedmont Natural Gas to give us an update on the company's expansion plans. Mr. Cartwright?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll put some information up here on the table.
We need somebody to operate your machine, or if you got it, you got it.
Okay. So if there's anybody here who wants to talk to me after the meeting, we can track it down individually. I put together a brief presentation. Anne-Marie contacted me to come and talk to you guys tonight, and I thought it would be a good chance for us to catch up on where Piedmont's at, what we've got in the works, and kind of some roadblocks I'm running into in trying to get some of the larger projects moving forward. I know the first one, probably the one that's garnering the most interest in the community, is the West Queen Street corridor, and trying to get across Pembroke Creek, specifically West River Heights, Northern Park, Oak Hill, Edenton, Lake and Harbor, Countryside Drive, and all the way out to River 2. We've looked at this. I've been with Piedmont for almost 5 years, and I know they looked at it 2 or 3 times before I got here. It's running industry challenges, but let's just go over some specific data on the project. From a rough estimate that I did recently, it was about 450 properties, mostly residential. Average size of the home is greater than 1,700 square feet, and this is just based off some data we have. Some of the homes are much larger, obviously, in some of the neighborhoods. There's a large number of propane customers. There's growing interest for natural gas service, and in total scope of the project, we're talking about a 9-mile main extension.
Say that again.
Last bullet point, in total scope of the
9 miles.
we're talking about 9 miles. 2 major challenges with West Queen Street. First and foremost is the 2-inch line that ends in front of Edenton Marina is not large enough to carry all the additional load that will be added by crossing Pembroke Creek and supplying all those neighborhoods. So we need to back up to Mosley and upsize that 2-inch line to at least a 4, probably a 6-inch line. Second issue, obviously, is Pembroke Creek. The DOT considers that a navigable waterway. That's an important designation because it requires a lot more engineering and specifics for us rather than just crossing a small drainage area, for example. First thing, replacing the section from Mosley Drive to Edenton Marina. It's approximately 3/4 of a mile. Mosley Drive is back here in this, right here. The 6-inch connection there that serves everything that goes west along Queen Street. I think that's Twitty Drive, Albania Street, and I forget the name of that loop. Anyway, it's all fed off that 1 2-inch line that connects to this 6-inch and goes west. There's 2 main tie-ins, as I said, at Twitty and Queen Anne that would have to be disconnected and replaced on the new line, and 16 service tie-ins that have to be replaced. Pembroke Creek, again, a navigable waterway. It ends, currently the main ends up here by Edenton Marina at the top of the sheet. Just to get over here and land on the west side of the creek, I need to add about 1,500 more feet to reach the west side of the creek. About 900 of it will be an engineered horizontal bore. That is the navigable waterway part. It has to be to a certain depth, high density pipe. Engineers have to stamp it. It's a lot of signatures required. It's an expensive bore. So this is just to get to the customers and get a pipe large enough that I can serve those areas. I had one of our estimators put together just a ballpark preliminary to see what it would cost to get to the west side of the creek with the pipe I could serve the neighborhoods with. First estimate was a 4-inch main, and we're not certain that's large enough to get all the way out to Riverton and carry that additional 9 miles of piping. That estimate came in at about $320,000. That's the main replacement and the creek bore. Rough estimate on the high end is probably $500,000 if we had to go to a 6-inch line. These are just ballpark numbers. Feasibility, Piedmont's feasibility models for residential projects are based on 20-year return on investment. So basically, if they can hit their ROI number on a 20-year model, they'll make the investment. The average revenue contribution, and that's a generic term that I came up with, basically for a 1,700 square foot house that has heat and hot water, how much budget allowance am I getting for that one unit on my project? It's about $2,000. Hypothetical, if we got all 450 homes, $2,000 yields about $900,000 that I would be allowed on the project in total. With costs beginning at $320 to $500, an additional 8+ miles of main remaining, that's going to be a tough number to keep it under $900,000. This is the hurdle that West Queen Street is facing. This is what Piedmont keeps bumping his head up against, and how to crack this nut. Now, I've started taking names for the last several years out in that area, and I'm putting together a mass survey now just to try and get some gauge of, a hard number of what the current customer interest would be. But this will be, honestly, by orders of magnitude, the largest project I'd ever requested funding for. So it's going to take a lot of justification to ask for $1 million project. So that's the hurdle that West Queen is looking at. Just a kind of a general overview, the 9 miles, we'll pick up again back here at Mosley, cross the creek, catch all the neighborhoods. It's 2 miles basically from this side of the creek out to Riverton, or I think it's Bell Drive, is that the last road? It's about 2 miles from there to there. Is this Edenton Lake and Harbor? I believe it's a 1.8 mile loop to go around the water. Again, by the time you go meander all through the neighborhoods, it's a 9 mile project. So we could take it in stages. The challenge is the first stage is $320,000. So that's where we're at on that one. Old Hertford Road, Coke Avenue, Paxton, Tyler, Oakdale. Looked at this one for this is 2 years now. It's approximately 180 properties, primarily residential. A little smaller average home size. Definitely growing interest for natural gas service. This is about 2 miles of main in total. Okay. Challenges, just documenting interest. We've got distribution line there that's available. It can serve the area. I've sent mailers in 2015 and 2016, and I can send them again this year. No worries. Mr. Bond is my project lead on it. You're one of the names I have.
Okay, but we've sent petitions to you over the past 3 years requesting that we get the service.
Let me walk you through how we get funded.
Huh?
Let me walk you through how we get funded.
Okay.
It's not just requesting the service. The project will need significant response rate due to a smaller square footage, home square footage, and several vacant areas. This is Old Hertford Road. I know it's kind of hard to see. We got Bill Street a year or two ago. The main used to end right here. We punched it down to this bed and breakfast. I had a little bit of money left over on that project, so I had about 300 additional feet that got me down Old Hertford a little bit further, down to the mini stores. In order to get from here all the way up to this area, you see a lot of vacant space in here. And to service all these areas, we're talking about 2 miles of main. Excuse me. I think I have 15 names over the 2 mailers that I've sent out.
Sir, I've sent you a couple of petitions with everybody's name on it that lives on Cork Avenue, Oakdale Drive, Tyler's Lane, Hereford Road, and Paxson Lane. So I know you've got a petition with more than 15 names on it.
Well, we've worked through the petition. I've contacted the people who I can get up with on that list. What I need is more than just a name and an address. I need enough to be able to load what that unit would be in terms of a monetary value of the project so I can get the funding. It's more than just a name and an address.
Sir, I've talked to you personally a couple of times.
And you're on my list and I have your information. I have about 15 people who I have enough information that I can load on the project. Again, the challenge...
Well, can you, Mr. Cartwright?
Documenting interest. That's the challenge, yes, sir.
Can you outline exactly what you want from this gentleman?
Well, we can follow it with another mailer this year, or I've gone door to door to many of those areas. I know Oakdale personally, I've walked the street and hung door hangers on the front door of the houses and got one back. So we have been trying to reach out to the area. What I need specifically, name, address, what appliances do you use that are natural gas in your home? Do you own the house? That's it.
Sent those to you 2 years ago. I walked those streets from house to house.
Yes, sir.
And I got that information.
Yes, sir.
And I sent it in to you. And I didn't hear anything from you.
Okay. Again, I've reviewed the project a number of times. I'll look back and see if I can find the information you're speaking of. But the information I've gotten from residences, because it's not just been Mr. Bond who's contacting me. There's a lady on Tyler, there's a lady on Oakdale, who have also been very adamant about getting service, and they have been out knocking on doors as well. I can tell you one thing, I've done this job for almost 5 years. When I show up on your front door, I am a vacuum cleaner salesman. I have no credibility. I don't. I appreciate your legwork and going and knocking door to door. That gives me a whole lot more leverage when a neighbor is pushing it. But the hardest thing in this project, and trying to get main extensions done anywhere in the 10 counties I cover, is getting the interest documented. Getting people to return the doggone survey.
So it's not just, excuse me.
I've got to go back a few more years, I guess, because I know on the west side of town, a former employee of the town, Alan Swan. I mean, I know for a fact that he went door to door, the little store that's out there, Westover store, they had them, the petitions in there, they had the sign-up sheets. I mean, I don't know what y'all are doing with your information when you get it. But wait, let me finish.
Okay.
The thing was, I know for a fact that they had, I mean, bundles of these things from Westover, Morgan Park, all the way out, of people who really wanted to get in on this.
Are we going back to West Queen now?
Yes, back over that way.
I
mean, I know there was stacks up. I saw the stacks up. I got them from what was her, not Jennifer Hill, her last name was Hill.
Lauren.
I got them from her myself and gave them to them.
Yes,
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I think there's more of an interest in what you really know of or what you think there might be.
Lauren has given me the information that she had when she worked the project 7, 8 years ago. Okay? I can try and backtrack through that, through the property transfers and sales and deaths and what may have happened to who owns it now, or we can just send out new mailers. That's probably the best.
Well, I think what happens is, reverting back to your vacuum cleaner salesman, I think what happens is people get tired of filling it out, send it in, and there's no response. And then they fill it out, and people go knock on the doors and fill it out again and send it in, and there's no response. We, over at the church one night, they held a meeting with the local residents.
I think the frustration you're venting is the same Mr. Bond is venting, because he's one of the 15 who are on my list, but there's 180 I mailed. I stuffed the envelopes myself.
Well, I'm telling you, I think what your problem is, people are tired of filling them out and nothing ever happened.
Well,
I think that's where your
I
problem
can
might
follow up with the 15 and tell them I don't have enough yet. Go talk to your neighbors, return your survey calls. Or, again, these projects can get enormous. You know, 180 homes is an awful lot of homes you're gonna knock on the front door of. And we try and do it as we can in bulk. We pull in the tax record data, which is sometimes accurate, sometimes not. One of the issues I had with Chowan County with the tax data is it often truncates the first name on it. So when I send it to Frank, it shows up as rank. And they think it's jumping in and they'll finally get open. So it's just, we're working with what we have.
So, may I ask another question, please? Based on the statistics of the neighborhoods that you described,
Yes, sir.
how many homes would you require to make the move?
It's a moving target because it
I understand that,
depends on the
but
cost.
just try.
We say on average it takes a home about every 100 to 120 feet to extend the
100 to
extend the
120
main.
homes?
No, a home every 100 to 120 feet to extend the main. That $2,000 will buy me about 100 to 120 foot of main. And that's not including crossing creeks and stuff like that. So the construction component of this is extremely expensive. Installing underground natural gas line is not cheap. So, for the customers who have access to gas and main in front of their home,
One more question.
But
If
folks, we got to run the gas main too. That's the challenge.
One more question. If a resident submits and says that they're not the owner, do you just throw that away?
No, sir.
Or do you
No, sir.
pursue who owns it?
What I do is I follow up with that person, and we have a landowner's authorization form.
Yeah,
they need
just-
to get signed. and
Gotcha.
notarized. Yeah.
Okay.
The landowner has to give us legal authority to put the service on the property, but the account can be in the tenant's name. You know, so that we can
Yeah.
set it up through them.
Well, maybe we need a sign-up day, you know, like do it at town hall, everybody come in and sign up. I mean, because something's not working, so, you know.
We've gone through different ways of doing these surveys. I know when Piedmont first came into the area back around the turn of the century, 2000, there were contract sales guys, and they were scattered out over the area, and it's changed now. We work for the company, we're assigned territories, I cover 10 counties, and we're responsible for residential and commercial business, agricultural business. So, I mean, I'm in Chowan frequently, I'm in Edenton 3-4 days a week. So, it's just a matter of making the numbers work out. And I was speaking about these projects with my supervisor today, and he made a good point. He said these things were easily feasible, they would have already been done by now.
We get it in the Chowan Herald, everybody reads the Chowan Herald, I mean.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
In your West Queen analysis, you had X number of homes times that would generate $2,000 for you. I don't see that application on the Old Hertford Road. So the question would be, in a 2-mile run of service pipe, how many of those 180 would you need to if their burn rate is, it's probably a little less than that because they got smaller square footage,
It's going to
right?
be a little less. And what we often find is when we get into the smaller homes, I only get heat, which cuts the contribution back a little bit more.
I got
Notice I said heat and water heat in these homes. That gives me that $2,000 contribution. But when you get into smaller homes, especially if you get into rental neighborhoods, the landlords often put electric water heaters in them because they're less expensive. And it's more difficult also to get landlords to invest.
Well, the numbers are what are missing for me. You got a nice set of numbers here that show that basically break even.
Then you have none.
This is,
Well, we can-
no economic analysis on this.
Well, this one, Old Hertford Road is actually a much easier project than West Queen.
I would think so.
It's a much easier.
Water.
The only challenge I really have with Old Hertford Road is, again, is loading on the project. If we look at right here, Broad Street, I believe that's right in front of the high school. You'll see how this line tees. See that? Everything in South Edenton is fed right there. Everything in North Edenton and goes up to Colony Tire is fed here. There's a whole lot more load on that bottom line than there is on that top line.
So let me ask this question.
If we connect from the south and go north, there could be an engineering issue there, but there's an outside chance I may can get some funding to alleviate that concern.
Why can't you, on this particular project, why can't you come in from the north at Colony Tire and come down over Upper Road?
Because we'll be paying a penalty in terms of revenue right through here. There's a lot of open farmland through there, a lot of vacant lots through there. Again, about every 120 foot, 100 foot, I need to pick a house up. And if we go 1,000 feet with no houses, who pays for that 1,000 feet? If it's going to fall on a project somewhere.
So the expansion then, in a perfect case, would stop even before it got to the intersection of 17.
You mean,
Because of the open farm space.
Oh, yeah, up here by Colony Tire. Yeah, we've had interest out there past Colony.
No, I'm still back on Old Hereford.
Okay.
Would you run it all the way to the 17 bypass at Colony? Or would you not because of the open farm space?
It depends. If I were told by the engineering group that, like I'm on the wrong road, if I were told by the engineering group that if we pulled it off of here, that it would, and tied all this together down here,
Yeah.
that it would create an overload situation, then I would request exemption funding and then the loop feed me back from the top and not charge my project for it. Piedmont's usually very reasonable on stuff like that. Not going to penalize customers.
Okay.
But if you came in from Colony, you could catch Cork Avenue, Oakdale Drive, Towers Lane, and hit Hereford Road and go to Paxton Lane that way.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot. That's where the majority of your houses is.
Yeah, you mean
It's
over here on
farmland.
You know, you're on code.
Mm-hmm.
Coming over. Yeah, we looked at it from that side too. Yeah. Or we can town, just Windborn, we could town here and come down as well. So we looked at it from different ways, and my engineer, he'll run 4 or 5 different scenarios to figure out which is the most economically, beneficial. So again, this one, the biggest challenge is just documenting interest. I just need to show the people who fund my projects that these customers return the survey cards, and then I will follow up with those customers. Once we get a hypothetically funded project, the next step is then I have to have a signature. Then I need a commitment saying, when we run the line in front of your house, you'll hook up to it.
I'm not trying to be funny, but this is one of the biggest questions that's asked of me every week with residents on Cork Avenue, Oakdale Drive, Towers Lane, Hereford Road, and Paxton Lane. Why is it that we can't get natural gas ran to us?
Well, I had it somewhere. Most of the houses are small square footage houses, so it doesn't give me as much contribution. And there's vacant areas that are.
So you only run natural gas to bigger houses?
No, sir. That's not what I'm saying. The projects have to be built where they can be funded. That's how we have to do it. And a 20-year ROI model is fairly.
Well, bottom line, what you want is more than 15 homes on the list.
Yes, sir.
Our concern, I think, back to what Councilman Biggs said, if we had an all-out idea on how to get these people to sign up properly and commit, we would be concerned that once again we would do that and nothing would happen. How do we have some sort of quantity or quality assurance that if you went out again and went through this and got the people to sign up, that we would actually get the gas service?
There would be no guarantee just because you went out, you would get gas.
That's what I suspected, and I understand.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of our, not mine, I mean, mine is from our constituency is very interested in this, and they want gas.
And Piedmont wants to sell gas.
Now, I'm sure you do, but there has to be some understanding between the two. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mayor?
I do, but I also understand that if the economics from the corporate side are not justifiable.
Well, I understand
they're
that
not
too.
going to dig the ditch.
Okay, let me try it again. What I'm saying is, assume that we go out there and get the numbers of sign up. I think that our population in these areas have submitted a request in the past and they didn't get a response, or they think they did and they didn't get a response, or the councilman came out and talked to them and...
They may have submitted the request.
Do you understand my
Yes, sir, they
question?
had submitted the request, and then when they ran the project numbers, it wasn't feasible. I know when Lauren ran West Queen Street, she
I
ran
could-
4 or 5 scenarios, just doing the first neighborhood, just doing this one, and all the way out to Rivers. And, I mean, I had the presentation that she used when she came here back then, and gave you guys that information on my laptop. I mean, it's just the data really hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is the cost has gone up. Our construction installation costs have gone up. No, it's an economic thing. It's every neighborhood that I deal with around this area is, you know, they're difficult to reach sometimes. Edenton Bay Marina, is that the name of it? Off the south side. Anyway, they're on a transmission main. A lot of large houses out there, but it's a mile to the first customer once you get inside the gate.
You run, natural gas is ran in the county, right?
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of fields at the county because the county there's a lot of farmland there. And it was feasible to run it across that farmland, and the small amount of farmland that's in my neighborhood, it's not feasible to run it across there because you keep coming up with 15 houses. I know I had a petition of over 100 people 3 different times that was sent to your office. I don't know where you get this 15 houses from. I'm not trying to start an argument. I'm not mad about anything. It's just that the people want natural gas.
And we want to sell it to them, but we have to make a feasible project. Now, we can try and run the scenario situation again with the survey and get the information back, and we'll run the numbers again to see if it works. But I personally stuffed 360 envelopes for this neighborhood and got 15 back. I have a stack of them that high on my desk.
We should have been putting it all over town when they came to town.
You know, and how do we reach the farmers? A lot of that goes back to the bond money. It brought it east of 95 into these 13 eastern counties. Before then, we had no natural gas.
Okay.
That's where we messed up.
So if I get a petition up again with all these names on it again and send it to you,
Allow me to send a survey letter out. I will have it out for next month. I'll dump it in for mailings. We send it, they're actually going to a third-party contractor now, and they send out thousands of them a month.
But if you're not getting response from that, I think what the councilman is saying is he knows people. I mean, he knows people in his area. And council, I'd be more than glad to knock on doors with you at any time because
Give them my
I know
card.
how important it is.
Just hand them my card. Say, here, call this guy.
and,
My cell phone is on here.
and what would that do?
Well, I will take the information down and fill the card out when they call me, get the information and load them into the project.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I can't make it more direct than that. I just need to get the information. You know, I'm dealing with the same challenge in Robertsonville, dealing with the same challenge in Roanoke Rapids and Austin. It's getting the information back in. There's always one person who really wants it and they're very motivated. And everybody else, they just pay their LP bill. So, other projects in the county, we're also looking at Bray Hall Road and Meadowlark Drive. I'm trying to get down there. It's only a handful of homes. We're surveying that area as well. And Virginia Road, the 1 and 200 block down at the very end where it intersects with Broad Street. Trying to get back into those neighborhoods. They've been kind of blocked off and railroad tracks limits our access from the east. And there was one more, but I can't think of it right now, Sherwood County. So, any other questions? It's a challenge.
I think we've asked a lot. I'm sorry that we may sound, we're needy.
This is the same conversations I had.
Trying to answer our constituents' questions, and that's the toughest part because Some of them have asked, and
Yeah.
they think that they've submitted, and it's another case. I understand Piedmont Gas situation. We do understand that. And we thank you very much for speaking with us. We'll discuss it and see what
Okay.
perhaps ideas we may come up with.
I will include
Be in
all of
touch
them
with you.
again.
I would like to have your card.
Yes, sir, I'll leave a stack of them up here. And,
Thank you.
And
But thank you very much for coming and for talking to us. We
Yes, sir.
appreciate it very much.
thank you.
Okay. You say you'll be in the community again next month?
Oh, I'm in Edenton every week. I was here this morning.
Okay.
Back here this evening. So,
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Some of those cards too.
yes, sir.
No, not the business.
He's leaving a stack on the table.
Yeah, if y'all fill these out, give them back to me. If you mail them into Charlotte, which is where they'll go, if you drop them in the mail, it'll be always before I get them. So,
I just want to see what the information
yeah.
is.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
Can you leave those and we not send them into Charlotte and just get them to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Leave them.
This is the information I need.
Yeah, stack us up. I'm sure you'll be hearing from us.
Yes, sir.
The second item we have on the agenda for the Utilities Committee is engineering service agreement for wastewater treatment plant improvements. Wooden Company, that's a qualified town, excuse me, I'm having trouble with my voice. Wooden is a very qualified firm that's helped our town repeatedly with wastewater really for many years. Utility Committee would like to recommend approval of this agreement. If there are questions that need answer that you have, I can enlist Glenn Anderson to help us, and otherwise submit them to Anne Marie at a later date to get those answers answered. Otherwise, I'd recommend submitting this to the next meeting, committee meeting, and not committee meeting, regular meeting. If we're okay with submitting it,
Who's on your?
there's no one else on the committee.
Both your,
It's just Jimmy is the other person, he's not here. I am the committee tonight.
okay. Yeah, we gotta move that along because we're into this special agreement.
I would like to submit it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll go to the regular council meeting. The third item is an extension of what we just spoke about, the wastewater treatment. We received a grant of $187,000, which will provide a contractor that would videotape the sewer lines that were flooded during Hurricane Matthew. This same contract would clean the lines of the silt, sand and debris that might have infiltrated into the sewer lines, and videotape to detect any problems on the lines. Once again, I'd like to move this forward to hire the contractor. We have the funding. I'd like to be able to address this at least in the next meeting. Again, not having other committee, I submitted it that way to the next regular council meeting. Any questions? Submit. such as that, okay? Mayor, that's all we have.
Okay, thank you, sir. Moving next to our administrative committee, chaired by Councilman Biggs, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We only have 2 items on the agenda tonight, and one of them is, again, during the vision session, we talked about the major problems that landlords have as far as with actions being able that they can take with some of their renters and the problems that they have when they go and fix a house up, and they don't actually know a lot of the people that might be moving in. And we were talking about, I think Councilman Dixon was one that brought up, and maybe about having some type of application that we could ask each of the landlords to be involved in, to fill out, or have the prospective renter fill out. And I know that the chief has investigated some companies, and it was in the packet of some companies that you had seen and liked. Anything you want to add to that, Chief, as far as what you can or cannot ask, or I'll open the gate for you to go ahead and bring that up, if you would.
Yes, sir. We can do checks, and we've been asked at the police department to do checks, background checks on different renters and for different things, and we can do local checks. All of our records are public record as far as local arrests and things like that, but if they're from out of town, out of state, we can't use our resources unless it's a criminal investigation.
Right.
So these other resources that they use, like some of the other apartment complexes, Wedgwood, Waterford, they contract through a resident check and Berry Screen, and for a small fee you can run it and it checks all that stuff for you.
Right.
And there's some examples, I think, on the questions that they can ask on there. So that would probably be the better way to do it in those situations.
Any questions or comments, Councilman? Well, we'll send it on if that's okay, and see if we can get the landlords to sign up. And Anne Marie mentioned that they, through the electric department, they have a way of telling who the landlords are, of course, so maybe they can get in contact with them if this is approved and have a good old-fashioned meeting and help them help themselves, because it sounds like it's a major problem. So we will send that on. The other thing we have on the agenda tonight is disposing of some property, hopefully. Sam, I'm going to turn it over to you right quick and let you tell us what you know.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, this evening, bring an opportunity to the council for us to, like you said, dispose of some property that the town has been taking care of ever since the mid-1980s. For whatever reason, we can't drill down exactly how we came about this property, maybe a CDBG grant or something like that. But anyway, we came to possess a non-conforming lot on East Gale Street that now we're presented with the opportunity to donate, to grant, or to sell this to Habitat for Humanity for them to put it to good use inside the redevelopment zone. So this is the lot here. To orient yourself a little bit, this is the Edenton Peanut Mill, this is the Norfolk Southern Railroad, and this is the 200 block of East Gale Street. As you can see, it dead ends here. Again, this is the actual lot we're talking about here. It's only 33 feet wide, and it's really literally only wide enough for a driveway and maybe a little buffer on each side of it. But the reason we're bringing this before you this evening is Habitat for Humanity has recently purchased these 2 lots here. Now all 3 lots, and actually every lot on the street, save this last one, is a non-conforming lot, meaning that these were laid out prior to any zoning ordinance requiring them to be a certain width or a certain, whatever. So these all actually, anything less than 50 feet wide is a non-conforming lot. So as you can see here, this is a 35-foot lot, or 35-foot wide lot. This is 40 feet, and this is 33 feet here. This is the subject parcel. So like I said, Habitat has got these 2, and they're looking at this one here to improve their project. So just some quick facts. Dimensions, like I said, 33 feet wide by 165 feet long. Zoning is R5. Current use is vacant, undeveloped lot. The neighbor next door actually uses it for parking, off-street parking. Tax value is $5,300. It is indeed a non-conforming lot. Again, the minimum lot width for an R5 lot is 50 feet, and this one is only 33 feet wide. Acquired in the 80s, and it is located in the North Oakland Street redevelopment zone, so that's a plus. So this is essential for Habitat for Humanity's efforts along East Scale Street. As you know, they are heavily involved with the redevelopment zone projects areas, and this happens to be in one. Their business model searches out vacant lots. They can do rehab houses if they so choose, but generally they search for vacant lots first. So this is why this has piqued their interest. Again, they've already got the 2 neighboring parcels. So with this lot, if they do get it, if you all agree to deal with them, they will have a total of 108 feet of linear road space here, which is enough for 2 conforming lots, which is that if they have the 2 conforming lots, then they can actually start to build on it without any kind of a variance or anything like that to get around town regulations. So again, the 200 block of East Scale Street has had a history of on-street parking, which is problematic for the fire chief. We've had a few residents come in the past few years to complain about that, and also I've been up here about installing signs on that road. The fire chief's been up here complaining that if these vehicles are parked on the street, and again they park on both sides of the street, he cannot get a fire engine down that street without damaging cars or damaging his engine, that kind of thing. So, and you can see here, again, because these lots are so narrow, I mean, like, they are literally the exact width of the house. There's nowhere for these people to park. So with these 2 conforming lots, there'll be enough space in there for these new residents to park off street. So that's a bonus for the neighborhood. So with that being said, I would highly recommend considering transferring this property to Habitat for Humanity. Now, as far as details go, I don't know how, again, if we have to sell it to them, if we could donate them, grant it to them, whatever. I'm not sure about all that, but just for your consideration this evening.
Well, as y'all saw, Anne Marie has put in here that she would have to talk with Hood about this before we could even think about doing something with it. But if you're in agreement with the possibility of moving it on to council.
Let's send it up.
Okay,
Yes.
you good with that? All right, we'll let her figure out let Hood figure out what we can or can't do with it. Mayor, that's all the administrative committee has tonight.
Very good, thank you. Next committee to meet tonight is Finance, chaired by Councilman Dixon, please.
So we have 2 things on tonight. The first is 2 budget amendments. It's first for a small grant from Electricities for $750 for Larry Lombardi to attend the Economic Developers Conference. The town received the funds for Electricities, and we need to expense it out because we're going to send him. So then the second is for a storm drain repair at Village Creek. Matthew damaged the storm drain pipe, and the homeowner association had to repair, put some repairs in the ponds. Anyway, Anne Marie didn't have that on her radar, she said, and that for FEMA, but we'll ask if there's any way that they can be reimbursed. But that amendment's for $1,700. So 2 amendments. Anybody got any? Send them on. Okay. That's all we have.
Be done.
All right, thanks. And that concludes our committee meeting agenda for tonight. And as mentioned at the outset, I will close that meeting and with the same strike of the gavel, open the redevelopment commission meeting. And I'll again ask Sam to come forward and talk to us about the 2 properties that we have that will enable this commission to begin its designated work in reclaiming properties that have been abandoned for quite some time, and we're now ready to take ownership, and we have a nice long list of investors who are interested in the properties that will come available, and so now we have 2 to consider, so this is pretty exciting. We can launch our program here, hopefully.
Indeed it is.
Sam?
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Redevelopment Commission. So again, y'all have seen these properties several times. I've come up and spoken on details of these. Again, both these are located in the North Oakland Street neighborhood redevelopment zone. For whatever reason, this zone, as opposed to the Mosley Street zone, has received the most of the attention. I think the Mosley Street zone is mainly motivated by investors, as opposed to Habitat for Humanity and the town's efforts in the North Oakland Street zone. So hopefully with this we can actually get going. All right, so this is the map of a part of the North Oakland Street zone here. If you'll see, this is 123 East Gale Street, and this is 136 East Albemarle Street. So I'm requesting that the council consider purchasing both of these properties tonight. To orient you to this, again, this is Oakland Street here. This is the future Edenton Police Department here in the next couple weeks. And this is the Hannibal Badham Junior House, I believe, right there, which is a big historic structure on Oakland Street, or East Gale Street, that I've spoken to you several times about as well. All right, so action property, first one, 123 East Gale Street. I know I've already read these details out to y'all. The fair market price is included in your packets at this value here. And the second property, again, I'll take a step back here. This is located in the Edenton Local Historic District, so in addition to the redevelopment zone rules and regulations, it's also subject to the Edenton Historic Preservation Commission oversight for the project. Again, built circa 1886. All right, and this one, 136 East Albemarle Street, located near the new police station. This appraisal was conducted in January 2017, and again, the fair market value is listed here, also in your packets this evening. So the staff recommends approval of both of these requests. So I leave this at your desk for your consideration.
Thank you, Sam. All right, where are we? Commission? Yep. Yeah, all right, Commission. We have before us 2 properties, and thank you, Sam, for all your work to bring about the opportunity for the town to acquire these within the redevelopment zones that we established here several months ago. And as we're fond of saying, we all have to start somewhere, and now we have 2 properties where we can do just that. Anybody have any questions or comments about where we are? And ultimately, I'll be looking for a motion to acquire each of these properties as they're presented and at the values that are assigned to them in Sam's report and recommendation. So,
Can I ask one question?
absolutely.
When we purchase these 2 properties, I think we're going to purchase them. How long would we have to own them if we can't sell them before we start spending money on them?
Well, that's a function of the market, I'm afraid. I don't know the answer to that question. I know we have a line item in our budget of $100,000 designated to purchase properties such as these. And I know that our administrator, Anne Marie, has been in touch with and has a list of people who expressed interest in acquiring properties within the redevelopment zone for a variety of reasons. But in terms of how long we will own,
It's our decision, isn't it?
Hmm?
It would be our decision.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
But what I was saying, if these 2 properties are not sold the way that we expect them to be sold, would we have to go into them and spend some money to improve them? That's the question.
We talked about that at the last meeting, and actually, we will have to. I mean, just like if anyone else buys it. If an X amount of time goes by and we own it, we got to spend money to fix them up, just like we're requiring
I think that would be mostly exterior though.
Right, that's right.
Yes.
Just paint them, that kind of stuff, get them.
Okay.
So, make them look good. I mean, I'm real excited about this. We've been trying to, get something going. These people that live on that street, they've had a bunch of vacant buildings with people breaking in for a long time. And this is something that their government is getting ready to do for them. So I think it's great. And it's also not
the whole town.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, the people that live on that
No, I
street
know
that
what
would
you
have to
mean.
deal with all this all the time and watch their neighborhood just fall down. This is something that we're gonna help that neighborhood get going again. And, these are really, really significant houses, this one especially. And, I think if we can, it'll bring tourism to the town, it'll bring, everything we want to happen, it'll make that neighborhood beautiful like it was when, we were all children. And we're not having to take it, and that's the other great thing there. This is a willing buyer and a seller, which is fantastic. So I'll put that in, I'll make a motion and we buy them.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to buy the two houses as presented. Any further discussion about the properties or the action we're about to take?
My only discussion, and it kind of follows up with Councilman, was, I know Anne Marie said in her notes that she has a list of people. And I don't know how we're planning on marketing these. I don't know if we're going to turn them over to an agent to market, we're going to market them ourselves. That has not been told to us, but I would hope if in fact we don't market them well enough to sell them in a matter of a short period of time, that we do turn them over to someone that's their business,
And I hope we put some kind of covenants on them going forward, whether it's with the Edenton Historical Commission, somebody, so they don't get in this shape. That's what Preservation North Carolina does. They put covenants on them so that they can keep them like they are. And I think that, we give the Edenton Historical Commission money, and I think it's a good thing for them to do.
If I might touch on that, there are covenants laid out in the redevelopment zone plans themselves, so that is already taken care of.
There's nothing in there about how they're marketed though, right?
No, there's nothing in there about how they're marketed.
Okay.
I think we're going to find that we can solve it pretty quick.
I hope so. It was a beautiful house.
Yeah.
When I was growing up.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful again.
Yeah. I wish I had the money to buy it.
Further questions or comments about the two properties and the motion to buy? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. We'll move forward through our attorney to close on those two properties.
It's too late to say it, I suppose. But on the other hand, I do hope we have periodic reports on what's happening with them.
Yeah, we can certainly request that. And the motivation will be we're taking them off the tax books.
That's right.
So we want to get them
we-
restored at a higher value to the tax books once they've been
That's right.
purchased and brought up to speed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do thank you for your vote this evening, and also I want to say also thank you for your time and your patience with this. I know that it's a very long and drawn out process. I know that y'all put a vote of confidence in me, financially speaking, to get this stuff rolling, and it has taken almost the entire year just to get the first ones up there. But this is a step in the right direction. That we've learned the process. We know what to do, at least with willing sellers or willing homeowners. So now we have to figure out how the red tape works with regard to people who are less than willing or not able to be found or that kind of thing. So this is a step in the right direction, and it's not a easy road or a quick road, but it is, like I said, a step in the right direction. So thank you.
Thank you, Sam. You did a great job in bringing those two properties to this point where we could take action. All right, so we've completed both agendas here, ladies and gentlemen, and so our time together this evening has ended. We adjourn.
Thank you.